morning, everybody. It is Cringe with Pi and Mo. I am Mo Regalado. Over there is Pi Jamerson. Going live on the gram. Today, we are talking about leveling up and lifting others. Because that's what we do here. Hopefully today we can comment.
Oh yeah, maybe I should. I was logging on to like 6 different feeds.
Yeah, I don't know why yesterday, we couldn't yesterday. All right.
Yeah, I'm on both grams, logged in.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why on Tuesday you didn't see any comments. So if you're joining us, please say good morning and hello. Holly Pennington joining us over on the gram. I don't know if it's just a glitch with LinkedIn or what the situation is, but we cannot see comments. Are we getting comments on this? Are we getting any comments?
We're not getting comments on StreamYard, but we are perhaps getting comments on the LinkedIn live video, which I'm going to.
And there were comments from X too that we never saw.
To find it.
Okay, so today we have a big announcement. Miss Fly Jamerson, would you like to talk about it?
I would after I click and yes, big announcements. And it was really funny because last night in the group chat between the elite group chat between myself and yourself and our lovely Miss Allison Weiss is so nice. I texted the group chat and I said, you guys, I don't have a stunt. I don't have a stunt for my big announcement, which I love a stunt. We need more. I think that especially, it can be very, very effective if you are someone who doesn't usually kind of go, oh, we have comments. What is that? Rush.
And good morning, Jonathan Papika. Thanks for joining us on the gram.
Right. Now I can click out of all. It was just like me. It's like, I was like a matrix because all my 3 other screens had 6 of my face. It was really upsetting. Anyway, so doing something outside of the box is a really great way to get attention, and getting attention around and something that you want a lot of people to know about. I'm just like, bet, I love that. Guess Who games and crazy shoes, and I've done all kinds of stuff in the last 2 years. But I really have been so incredibly focused on the back end that I was just like, you want to know what? All I have to do is say it. So what I have to say and what we're about to announce is basically I've been training for it my whole life, but I will be the new director of growth and partnerships at MoVO Media Marketing.
So what does that mean? So we actually have an internal title for it, which is totally different.
Oh yeah, you can catch me on X for the internal title that now people are saving me in their contacts with. This so maybe a little bit in another generation would have called it blue in terms of the quality of the comedy there. Anyway, so director of growth and partnerships, what does that mean? It means doing a lot of what we already do, but instead of doing a lot of things that would make me more of a generalist, really zooming in and focusing on and specializing in specifically the actions and building the relationships that will lead to growth for both our clients, the company, and the greater community at large. And so, having conversations with people. I mean, for the first year and a half that I was in this business, my LinkedIn headline was starting conversations about CREi. And that to me has always been one of the main actions that I could take to make what I wanted to have happen. But very recently, inside of our work in the business, the business at large, technology at large, everything that's happening, things are moving so fast and we have so many ideas. And so it's sort of we have had a lot of conversations about what is the highest and best use of our time. And what are and we have this conversation a lot with our clients, right? The highest and best use of your time has to be something that only you can do.
Right.
That is the thing that only you can do to generate stupid amounts of money. That's it. Like, and for brokers, that's making calls. Yeah, that's selling buildings. It's like, it's why we exist, right? Is because you need to focus on that. And so in this, I've learned so much from you in the last 6 months, and it's just been like, I feel like I'm just entering my sophomore year. That's all. I don't know. It's gonna be what are the other questions? What's going on? Now I'm embarrassed.
I think this aligns perfectly with, I talked about my word for 2026 is bold. Yeah. And as we've grown MoVO Media Marketing as an agency, it's been important to really look at not just the people that we work with, but also like you said, what's the highest and best use of your time? And if you're not doing these audits, with your own workflow, it's super important to do it. And what the heck? And I realized that as great as Fly is with everything that she does with creating content and ideation and all this stuff, her having those conversations with people and kind of fulfilling that sales development role that I can't do would be the highest and best use of her time. And so we're really excited about how it's going to play out, and how it's not that she's not going to be involved in helping with ideation and all that stuff, but
it's just gonna let me be like, what if we did this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's very exciting, and we're really, I don't know, I'm really excited about where we're going. And you will see her at ICSC Vegas. She will be there. So that's exciting. So we'll have a presence there. So I'm excited about that. We weren't there last year, and we did sponsor Linda Day Harrison's social.
It's the Let's Get Social happy hour.
Right. And so we were there that way, but I physically wasn't there. And so I think it's important that you show up where your people are. So that'll be exciting. And I know Fly is going to be doing, I know she's going to be doing interviews and stuff like that. So,
well, and that was when I look at, I've always thought it was very strange how I entered into the business, because even though this business is, made of people who often come from, other backgrounds, or, like people will be lawyers, or people will be, in finance, and they'll come into, or they're in sales in a different industry. Right. But then some people don't start as brokers. They start as analysts or interns, or, but I was just like, it's interesting to me that, there is so much opportunity in this business, and that somebody who comes in, like, who was hired as, like the social media girl at a local office, right? Like, I didn't know it was going to happen. And
right.
So,
well, and I like that you brought up social media girl, because I want you to bring up, if people haven't read the post either on X or on LinkedIn. So you were having this conversation on an X Spaces. If you guys are not on X, you are missing out. There are these fabulous spaces that happen. And I'm sure Jonathan Papika's like, shut up, don't tell people about it. No, I'm just kidding. But like, we have there's these spaces that you can jump on. Amy Calandrino hosts them. Jonathan Papika does. Who else does? Jim
Coy, Kevin Crone. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like we were talking about this on the show the other day. You want to know, like social media is great for attention, and then social media is also great for proximity. Right? Like, I spend all my time in a laundry room in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and still I've been able to form relationships with all of these people. And I'm just, and so just, you have to get on X anyway.
Yeah. So these spaces are fabulous places to connect and create a conversation. And Coy had said something to Fly that she was the social media girly, and she was like, "Wait a minute,
no, I want to, no, I want to
clarify.
I want to recontextualize that when you put yourself out there online, people will make gross assumptions about you, and often, and very early on, I would say, in my appearance into this space, I definitely leaned into an aspect of my personality that is like, you guys know, I mean, you guys see it all the time, you know what I mean? I'm just your regular neighborhood, fun-loving social media gal who wants to make silly videos on the internet. That's true, right? And so, but I didn't entirely know how to make legible something that's like been really intrinsic to and important to my work and our work in the agency as well, is that, I have an academic background. Like, I have a terminal master's degree. I'm a master in, so it's like funny to say, right? But, I worked in the entertainment business for, the better part of 15 years and worked with some of the best writers and artists all over the country, and, have helped hundreds and hundreds of people, write and produce their work. And people thought I was just like a silly girl who, was making cold call videos for shits and giggles on the internet. And like, that is true. I did do that. But there was a part of me that was, a part of my origin story, a part of my work that I was like not really sharing, and actually like a little bit scared of sharing, because I didn't, even though I could see, the relationship between, everything that I did before in my career and how I'm applying it now, it's hard. Let me just put it this way. It was a very astute observation about a very real thing that is also the kind of thing that we talk to our clients about all the time, in terms of like understanding that the only reason that people do business with you is like who you are and who they think you are. Right. And then, so it was actually a very interesting and productive conversation about, how you put yourself out online versus how you show up in conversations and how you show up on your work. Like, are you presenting yourself in a way online that is actually, if you were more open about, who you are and how you think, that would become more clear to people why they should do business with you. I don't know. And this is all complicated, right? But yeah,
it's not, because when we were talking with Allison yesterday, I brought up the whole point, and I've mentioned this before, that when I worked in radio, that persona, you're trying to get people to like, know, and trust you so they actually listen to your show, right? But they don't know what you look like. And I was doing a remote broadcast, so live remote broadcast at like a dealership or something like that, which is awful, by the way. Those are the worst things ever, because you usually have free pizza and people literally will walk up and take an entire pizza with them, and you can't say anything. It's like, it's supposed to be one slice, not the whole freaking pizza. Yes, that's happened to me. Yes, I wanted to throw down because I'm ghetto like that. But I did not. But one of the things that somebody said was like, oh, I thought you were tall and blonde, because I
can't even like close my eyes and picture you that way. Like, wait, talk.
I'll have to see if I can find an old broadcast for you to listen to. But it's it's just a lot of energy when you're on air, because you're trying to get people to listen to you, and you want to be exciting and you want them to get involved. So there's just a little bit, there's more energy that's being pushed out through the airwaves. And so I realized that I have to start telling people what I look like. And it's always a joke I make here. I'm a little short Mexican lady in a box, because, I'm in this box here and in the studio
all the time. I'm just like, guys,
right?
I'm stuck in the computer.
Right? You're in a box, you're in a studio. And so I made the conscious effort to start telling people what I look like, so there was not a disconnect when we met in real life.
And that's really what it's all about. How are you making yourself and who you really are and how you really do your business more visible? And this is and now I'm like entering, my sophomore year in, the business, in this new position. It really comes from all of the conversations that I have had with brokers who are like dealing with exactly that, especially the brokers who are, like everything, like they have everything else figured out, They're top producers in their market. They don't need to think about, oh, I gotta grind and make all these cold calls. Like they've done like serious transaction volume, and like that for them is turnkey. They have like reached, they've reached a stride even in this market. That's huge. And then these are the people who are like, oh, like this is all like that is all really, really working for you, but social media isn't working for them because of time, right? We always talk about time, because figuring out what are the things, that they need to surface about that work and like specifically tie it to their business goals. And that is the thing I think that has also really allowed me to begin to understand like, what are people driving towards in this business? What are the kinds of ways that we can help them like attach to very, very specific business goals that are about, oh my God, but the goals of that are about more than just likes and follows. I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? And so,
well, we had this conversation too yesterday. Really, you guys should be a part of the Elite CRE chat, but
you can be in our group.
One of the things is that we talked about the fact that and I just lost my train of thought. What were we? No, you're good.
Tying specifically what we do to the actual business goals that people have that are about more than just follows and likes. Like that is what's become really clear in like our work, right?
Right. That almost becomes a disqualifier for Fly and I when somebody comes and tells us I want to go viral.
I did. I had a very nice young man call me the other day and say, Fly, can you make me famous? And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't know, like a lot of that is not up to me. You know what I mean? It's like people calling and being like, I want to be like Bob. And I'm like, cool. Are you Bob? Are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and so there's a lot, it is interesting. Like now that I have been specifically, talking to people about this and really what they want. I mean, I have to tell you, and I see it all the time, the people who begin the conversation with, I want to go viral, I want to go famous, are going to have very different and disappointing results compared to the people who come into, a conversation with us, or even just with themselves about like, how am I going to approach social media? The people who are tying that specifically to business goals and deriving the actual content out of the actual actions they already take to win business.
Yep.
I had a conversation with a close friend of mine yesterday, kind of about his pipeline and what's going on for him. And the biggest deal that he's done this year, you want to know what that's attributed to? He sat next to the guy on an airplane and talked to him for 3 hours. And I was just like, okay, this is a totally different conversation, because we're talking about content pillars and we're talking about strategy and we're talking about hacking the algorithm and all this crap, right? And like, you got to know how to do all that. We take care of that for you. What I need to know is exactly what you said to that man, because whatever you said to that man is the reason that people want to do business with you. And that's exactly what should be in your content. And so it was like, those are the kind of conversations that we're having with people. And now it is my job to figure that out for you. That's it.
What the heck says on Instagram? He says famous or infamous. And yes, exactly. That's so we had a discussion about this yesterday as well, is that y'all need to really be careful about what you're saying about other people on social media. And just saying, that's all I'm going to leave it at that for. Okay. So if you're just joining us, Fly has a new position at MoVO Media Marketing. She is going to be the director of
growth and partnerships. I need a banner. I'm gonna get we actually haven't discussed my props budget, and we're really gonna get about that.
We have not discussed your props budget. That is very good. What's one way to move from great content for your audience to growing your audience? What's one way to move from posting great content for your audience to growing your audience?
Yeah. Can I tell you what it is? It's not a secret, and you already know it. It's engaging with other people and talking to them. That's it. That's it. How do you do that in real life? Marcy, you and I and Mo all got together because you started commenting on our lives. And now we have our eyes on you. And now all the other people who watch us know you. And it's all just a little party. Sorry. What were you going to say?
And also, so like I got to meet Marcy at Globe Street Women of Influence.
Oh yeah.
After we had been talking and she'd been on the social surges and we had been chit-chatting and DMs, got to meet her initially there, but then also she was at CREi Summit. So this is the second part of our show today that we want to mention. CREi Summit lists are officially open. They will close February 28th. Now listen up, people. You can you can either nominate someone or you can nominate yourself. There seems to be some confusion because I actually had somebody send me a message yesterday on LinkedIn and they're like, I'm so confused. I thought somebody had to nominate you. And I was like, dude, go nominate yourself.
It's never been that way.
Put your own numbers in.
Yeah, it's always been self-submission. And they do so, and this is what I will say, because it came up in a question on the post yesterday, is that there are, you should be prepared, and you said this, right? You should be prepared to, put in some stats, right? Because there are things that, obviously like everybody can see, but then there are things in terms of like, specific analytics and impressions and like stuff like that, you actually need to input yourself. And so if you do nominate somebody, they're going
to have to give you those numbers.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, again, another thing that we heard, or I've heard, and people have DM'd me is like, I had no idea that these lists existed. And I'm like, okay,
that's me.
I'm like, now you do. So when the announcement comes out that you need to submit for the list. And so the form, it's a jot form. Click the link. You go to CREiSummit.com, go to CREi list. And then at the top of the page, it says submit now, I believe. Click that link, right? And then it's going to bring you an entire list of stuff. So first off the bat, it is the CREi Women of Influence, I believe. It's
influential women's list.
Influential women's list, right? So nominate an influential women. That's one of the ones where you don't have to put any stats in. You can nominate someone, you can nominate yourself. I usually end up nominating somebody else. Then underneath that, we have like LinkedIn, we have X. So X/Twitter list. And then there's the retweet list, which is a separate list than the X list. So if you don't make the X list, but you're involved in the real estate, like investor side, the retweet side of X, then that's where you submit that information. And then we have podcasts. So there's 5 categories.
Love this. Yes. Love this. Nathan and I have to respond to your text message. Sorry. Nathan, I just do. I know it's in there. I see it. Anyway, Nathan and I had an amazing conversation the other day, just sidebar, about property marketing and drone video. And he's doing some really interesting stuff with his content. So definitely give him a follow. Check him out in terms of like how you can be, looking at, because we talk a lot about personal branding, not so much about property marketing, right? Which is a whole other part of this business that, it's really important, right? And so go follow Nathan for drone stuff. He's the drone guy. Huge shout out. What up, boy? Okay.
So CREi Summit, it's not a popularity contest. We're looking at contribution, consistency, and community impact. Are you contributing to the community? Are you consistent with it? Are you impacting other people in a way that is helpful, right? And so we'd love to see as many people as we can. In fact, it would be fabulous if 2026 is the year where we have so many submissions. We're like, oh my gosh, we don't know what to do. For each of the lists, there is somebody that curates that list. Mm-hmm. So Nick, what is Nick's last name? I'm going to mess it up.
Nick. It's Nick Lucizin. I really am sorry. I never say it out loud. Nick, I'm sorry if you see this. I failed you. Yeah, Nick. Nick is kicking it off with the LinkedIn list. He's one of the OGs of the list curators. And he has also done like a lot of work in terms of like, kind of actually preparing and shaping the analysis of all of the data, right? And how we actually rank people. And then the other list curators are still getting locked. And we're also kind of working on, and I'll say why I'm saying we the new website is coming out. We have new curators coming on, and we also have, like all this stuff, happening around the beginning of all the different committees, like programming committee kicked off. And so,
well, what if somebody wants to get involved? Like if they want to be involved in a committee, who do they contact?
They should contact me. Can I tell you why? Well, not that they can't contact Ken Ashley, who of course is our good friend in Atlanta at Cushman and Wakefield, but also the founder of the CREi Summit, right? But you should contact me about that, because another thing I'm doing, which is very cool, is I am contributing to the CREi Summit now, not just as the programming co-chair, but also as a fractional chief of staff. So right. I am yeah, it's been a really crazy month, you guys. It's been really wild. But
it's been a great month because of the fact that now we have somebody that is very in tune with the community, that is going to wrangle all the horses and bring him to heel, I guess. So we're always looking for committee members. We're always looking for people to volunteer, be brand ambassadors to talk about CREi Summit. It is going to be in Savannah, Georgia, September.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, DB, you better be there this year. It's going to be in Savannah, Georgia. It's the third week of September. I'm forgetting the dates. Is it the 21st, the 23rd?
I'm pulling it up.
Find out by going to
the 23rd. This is the 23rd to the 25th. I need to confirm.
Dine around, Queen.
Yes. Oh man. No, it's like, look, we planned this party for like 10 months, you guys. We legit planned this party for 10 months. And so, for me, many of you know, I was, very involved on the ground at CREi last year. And it is it's kind of a passion project for me, right? Because that was my entrance into the community. That was my entrance into meeting Mo, right? And so it's sort of just like I view CREi as my service organization. I do not transact. I do not do deals. I will not be a CCIM. I will not be an SIOR. And I was the president of every club my senior year in high school. And I just really, really needed this, you guys.
And I do. I'm the marketing co-chair along with Joe Killinger, and so we're always looking at ways that we can market better. So if you guys have suggestions, more than happy to listen to you, and hopefully we'll actually start doing more lives like we did last year. We had some lives that we did on X.
Oh yeah. I gotta send Warren an email.
Yes, and you're like, I have so much to do, and so there's that. We're already. From what I hear, the program committee already has an amazing list of speakers, and really the part of, I was talking to one of the guys who attends, and he said to me, he goes, I come not just to learn something new, but it's really the relationships that I've made here, where I've connected with people that I have transacted with after meeting them at CREi Summit that I would have never have transacted with because I did not know them, right? They didn't have a connection online. They didn't have any of that stuff. But it's because of those conversations that happen. I mean, one of my favorite moments from last CREi Summit is, and I talk about this, smoking cigars with Aaron Harris and Christian Cotta. And Coy Davidson was there, and we're all out on this patio, and they're just freaking, I love the storytelling, right? That's my favorite thing. And they're just slinging stories back and forth. And it's like, why are we not telling this online? Why are we not telling these stories on social media?
Well, and you want to know what? Actually, you want to know what they are? They are in the X spaces.
The X spaces, yes.
Do you remember whatever that week that was that you were like, oh, like I gotta put out more content. I gotta put out more content. And I was like, what are you talking about? You go live on the internet every day. You know what I mean? I was just like, you make an obscene amount of content. You know what I mean? Like now, maybe, but even you were doing content waterfall back then, but like, like, is there an argument that, you and I could take, and actually, are we starting to now like take these episodes and sort of like, strap a rocket to it and like let it rip, like, absolutely. And that's what we help people do. Do you know what I mean? But the thing about those X spaces, and I actually have told these guys, and I'll tell them again and again and again, and they're never going to listen. I might give up. But like, if any one of them, okay, two things. And it's like, they basically have proof of concept for a podcast. And it's challenging. And I think this is a challenge that's common of brokers and commercial real estate people everywhere, because sitting down and talking to people and telling stories is absolutely how you win business. Absolutely. And my job, how I view this, is like, what are the things that you already do that you win business with? And how do we translate that into a media format that instead of just one person, everyone can see? Because then everybody will want to do business with you instead of just that one person. And I really but it's challenging, because a lot of times what makes that storytelling good in those spaces is that it's just them and it's not recorded. And so I get that, you know what I mean? But I really do.
It's a conversation. It's an absolute conversation. And it is a masterclass in listening to how deals get done. Absolutely. And I wish more people would listen to us. And maybe it's a good thing that they don't, and they don't hop on. But these X Spaces Live they happen. So it's like usually like 6:30, 7 o'clock my time. So East Coast, it's already.
It gets to be like, I was up 2 a.m. that one night. I'm serious. And you actually, I sent a message to Don the other day. I sent a message to Strip Mall Guy, because every once in a while he'll post something and I'm just like, man, that boy is in his feelings. And so like, I'm just, I'm not afraid to say it, but he is an example again of somebody who like has, like he puts everything out there online, and like and then people start to ask things of him, and it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to be visible. Mm-hmm. But I sent that message to him being like, hey, like these are two things that you posted that like actually made me make my choices in my life differently, and like have brought me to this success that I have here. Do you know what I mean? And like that, that the reason I'm saying that is that like in those spaces, like you are in a conversation with people, and also just like in the greater community, right? Like the people you surround yourself with online, like you're in conversation with them. And, whether it means you actually form a relationship or whether it means that you're learning from the best people in the business, like it still surprises. I'm very online, so I have a lot of bias, but it surprises me still how many people are not utilizing this space in a way that would work for them. And so really that's like a lot of, go ahead.
Not just not utilizing it, but they are afraid to use it. They're absolutely like, there's this fear base that I'm not quite sure where it comes from. And like you said, we're online all the time.
I know. It's fear. It's fear of rejection, and it's fear of loss of reputation, and it's like it's rejection and loss of money. I mean, that's it. Because with like if you're on like, especially for brokers, except for maybe the guys who are and gals who are early, and not used to it, but like I can't tell you how many top producers I talk to who are just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this, because what they know how to do is pick up the phone and one-on-one with just their voice and words. Like,
Oh, you know what? That's beautiful. That's a post.
I think about this all the time. I really do.
I need to write that down. I need to write that down, because that's.
Well, it's also recorded, so we're not.
Yeah, but the muse is here right now.
But I mean, listen, but I wrote about this the other day. I don't know. And now we're like getting tangential, but it's exciting because for 15 years, you want to know what I studied? How people say words to get action moving in a plot. In dialogue for theater, film, and television. That is what I did. That was my specialty. How are you putting words together on a page in an order that will produce a specific result? Not just a specific result in like the action of the content, right? But also a specific result and reaction and then action after that from the audience, right? And so I was the person who was like helping people triangulate all of that. And then when I sat down in this business and like for the first 3 weeks of my job in commercial real estate, I just sat down in a room next to a broker who was doing his call block, and I just sat there and listened. And it was like, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy to listen to that and be like, oh my God, you just make money by talking. And it was all true. And that was the other thing. It was all true stories. It was real consequence. It was real money. It was real people. It was real buildings. It was real communities. And like crazy stuff that I have read about in history books.
Right.
I was talking to those people who were talking to people who would like make things happen that like actually have consequence in the world. And so I was like, and what do you mean you guys have bad social media? I was like, what? You have the best stories in the world and you have the worst social media? I was like, this is, we gotta fix this. So anyway.
Marcy says, one of the few conferences, going back to CREi Summit, where everyone wants to meet new people and spend time with longtime connections and then help anyone they can. That's exactly it. You know, when you go into those classes, when you go into the breakout sessions, it's how can I impart what I know to help you understand how to use this better? And it's just going to get bigger and better. I'm so excited for what Fly and Amy have planned for this year. And also Aviva's on your...
Yeah, Aviva Sunrich and Brandon Weiss and Gabe Einhorn, who has some very big ideas and which I love. And I think he can probably accomplish them more than most. Anyway, David Skinner and Skylar Ramines. So, and if I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. I'm very tired.
And the marketing committee is me and Joe. So,
and I'm helping. I would say, actually, yeah, I would say if you are somebody who is interested in getting more involved in CREi as a broker, but then also if like just stack that, you want to learn about how to do some of this social media stuff, come spend some time on the marketing committee. That, you know, give a little, get a little. I don't know.
The marketing committee, what I love about what we do is that we have like weekly, we'll have a 15-minute stand-up, and literally it's 15 minutes. That's all we do. We talk about what's going out, what needs to go out, and what we're planning next. It's literally 15 minutes, boom, 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 boom. If it's shorter than that, we do not go over 15 because nobody got time for that. So it's very quick. We are in and out. Boom. Dwayne says many instincts of people are to resist immediately. People learn when they grasp, not when they're taught. That's true. That's true. Actually, Dwayne, I can tell you that is the issue between What the Heck and myself, because he's always got these great ideas that it takes me a while to grasp. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I don't know why. Yeah, and it's just I totally get that, but you are absolutely 100% correct. All right, so recap. Too long didn't watch. Fly has a new position with the MoVO Media Marketing. She is the I'm not going to say it.
My official title, among the many superlatives that have been used to describe me, both good and salacious, are I'm the new director of growth and partnerships at MoVO Media Marketing. I will be spending a lot of time talking to people and figuring out what their needs are and how I can help them grow, both in both in our agency and in the industry at large. I'm also getting very hands-on in the school group. So for those of you who are in there, like I love what we're working on, and if you are so if you are someone who has questions, who wants to learn more about this, right, and just needs some guidance, that is a place where it's a dedicated space for us to talk about those kinds of things. And so I'll really be in there a lot more this year. And it's gonna be we're gonna make a lot of content, and we're gonna make a lot of money. That's it. That's all.
Marcy Moneypenny's in with me and Joe.
I love it. Oh, shoot. Okay, sorry.
So we actually have our first marketing, but we're having a marketing meeting today, right?
Yeah, it is actually today. It's today at 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah. So Marcy, if you can pop in on that, we'll send you the link and we'll get you in on that.
Noon your time, Mountain Time. Is that noon Mountain Time?
Chicago? Wait, no, Marcy, where are you? She's in Denver.
Marcy's in Denver.
Why did I think
Marcy is in Denver? Thank you, Ben. I know. You want to know what? I'm going to be actually in about an hour. I have to record a really important podcast, and I need to fix my hats. I got to figure this out, guys. I got to go. I got to do that.
Yeah, she's got to do that. All right. And then last but not least, CREi Summit list nominations are open. It is open right now. CREiSummit.com. Go there, look at CREi list. You should have received an email yesterday. If you did not receive the email yesterday, here is your notice. It is open until February 28th. I don't want to hear anybody tell me I didn't know about this, because Fly and I will be talking about this quite a lot for the next month.
Yeah.
You're going to get sick of hearing about it, because we're going to say, February 28th, did you nominate yourself? Did you nominate somebody else? And then don't forget.
Don't disappoint me in my birthday month.
The birthday month.
Yeah, all I want for my birthday is for you to submit to, I'm going to do like a cute little post. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I have to go. I am nervous now.
Has to go. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Social Surge with Fly and Mo. And we'll see you next week on Tuesday.